Dennis, the fertiliser companies are playing the game.
Yes, they are, Rob, and it's rather good to see. You know, instead of the fertiliser companies racking up big profits and stacking them up and then paying them back to the farmers as rebates and saying what jolly good fellows we are, they appear to be acting like a co-op, which of course is owned by the shareholders, and they are actually running pretty thin margins, I believe, at the moment, and indeed getting those rebates back to the farmers. And that's a recognition of the cash flow problems, the cost of production problems that farmers are creating at the moment. So they're being very, very positive and helping with the cash flow where they can. And I believe that that's the way they should always operate, rather than building empires to themselves.
Fonterra could learn from that.
I think so. Look at their ginormous profit and the struggling farmers. You know, I think some of those shareholders will be wondering how do you rationalise all that?
Exactly. Well done, isn't it? It's a bouquet to the fertiliser companies.
Yes, indeed.
Yep,
Yes. Yep.
ECAN, what's the latest with ECAN?
Well, there's lots of things that farmers have to do to comply with ECAN regulations, or particularly where they live and the type of soils they're on, or whatever issues they face. And ECAN are helping out a lot at the moment. Farmers are sort of rolling their eyes back and saying, oh dear, what do I have to do now and by what time? And I'm thinking about our farm environmental plans that all farmers have to have completed by January, basically. So
this is the permit to, or the consent to farm business?
Yes, it is. Well, it's all locked in and tied in together. And basically, if you've done a farm environmental plan that has been accepted by ECAN, and if you are in like a phosphate runoff zone, by completing that and having that farm environmental plan audited by ECAN, it automatically leads to a consent to continue farming. So that's what has to happen. And the good thing is, we had a visit recently at no cost from a very well qualified ECAN lady of good experience, and someone who had empathy with the farmer clients she was dealing with, and helped us navigate around, not completed, but given us the pointers or the template to continue on and do our farm environmental plan. So that was great of ECAN. They've recognised an absolute need. And of course, there will be people who haven't had that visit or haven't completed their environmental plans on time. And before they know where they are, there'll be abatement notices and non-compliance notices, and saying, well,
and that's expensive.
It's expensive,
yeah.
And if you have to employ people, I know farmers have spent $2,000 getting consultants in to help them do that environmental plan. So ECAN. Yep.
That's a free service. This lady came out because you rang them?
She rang me.
She rang you?
Yep. So they're
because
obviously
you're good looking, Dennis.
She was a lovely lady. A lovely lady.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, change the subject just a wee bit. Damaged crops and spraying are two things that don't go together.
They do not go together. And damaged crops through things like, can be like hail, can be like frost, can be like wind, can be caused by heavy rolling, can be caused by herbicides going onto crops, and basically the protection of a lot of plants from the herbicide you're using on them is the waxy coating on the leaf. And once you physically damage that, or from something like heavy rolling or wind, and then you bring on another herbicide, it might be a wild oat herbicide or something like that, where the selectivity between the crop and the target species is pretty narrow, you can have adverse effects on your crop. And the things like peas, if you've had to roll some peas to put the odd stone down, and the waxy covering of the pea leaf is damaged, and it can be damaged by wind, it can be damaged by rain. So that wax can be washed off by rain, and then you go in with some herbicides, it can actually penetrate the leaf and cause damage to that crop. And in fact, in peas there is a test called crystal violet, and you can pick leaves that appear to be bruised, or you can actually bruise one with your fingers when you pick it up, dip that in the crystal violet, which you can get from your chemist, and it will tell you whether the wax level is up or not. And often we have to wait after a rain for maybe a day and a bit of sunshine, and the sunshine will assist in bringing the wax cover back up on a damaged crop. So yeah, just be a bit careful. There's a few showers around at the moment, and farmers are spraying when they can, and perhaps they're just
Just to be a bit
going in a little
vigilant.
bit early. Yes, indeed.
Exactly.
Yep.
Are we getting too clever and forgetting number 8 wire?
Well, I think we are, Rob, and you know the Kiwis have this reputation of being fix it with a piece of number 8 wire, and being full of Kiwi ingenuity, those sorts of things. And really, I think we're starting to go to sleep a little bit, and I think our generation have been guilty of making life too easy for our siblings and younger generation. And if you want someone to be stimulated, perhaps they need a little bit of adversity in their life to look at
Dairy farmers are doing that at the moment, but
absolutely. And you know, they probably need to be like a robotic vacuum cleaner, and when they come across an obstacle, find a way around it. And that looking and finding the way around it is where you get the mental stimulus to reach deep into your resources and say, you know, what do I know, what can I do, what's plan B, plan C. And you know, the old brain up here, it's the biggest muscle we've got, but we don't exercise it enough, and we probably don't give it enough rest as well.
so we're sort of basically looking at computers that do everything for us now.
Exactly, you know, and if you had a human that had everything done for them, they were totally comfortable, totally stimulated, didn't need anything to happen, they would either die of boredom or obesity.
That's a fair comment, actually, Dennis. There's nothing more I can say. I think I'll leave it hanging right there. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.